Hello my Foonatics, it's Fufu here, and today I'm going to be bringing you week 9 and 10 of the PPL, kind of. Unfortunately, both Frank and I were really busy with busy people things. Frank has a load of exams, so we were struggling to arrange our battle. I managed to put a team together and was ready to battle, but we were both finding it hard to find the time, and Frank had his exams, and unfortunately Frank said that he would take the forfeit. He's a good buddy of mine. I'd have really enjoyed the battle. Go give him some love on his channels. I'll link them in the description. I haven't spoken to him in way too long either, so I need to speak to him. But that was really unfortunate because I'd have enjoyed that battle. But that means that I get the victory, which means that I'm still on track head-to-head with Trav going into week 9. So we both only have one loss so far. We've got 9 wins, 1 loss, I think. No. What? No, this is week 10, so we've got 8 wins, 1 loss. Sorry, I was getting really confused in my head there. 8 wins, 1 loss, and this is the biggie. Whoever wins this probably is going to take the title, because no one else is doing that well. Shardy's on 7-2, so he's doing pretty well, and is still in the running, depending on how the final week goes. But yeah, it's very tight. Very, very tight. And as I say, this one really is probably the one that's going to determine who wins the title. So, Trav, he's obviously done very well. He's got a terrifying team. I'm going to do the team buildery bit now. If you want to find out what goes on in my strange brain, then please stick around and you will see the workings of a madman. If not, if you just want to see the battle, then skip ahead to the time link in the description. But yeah, we're going to get a bit analytical right here. So, I'll show you Trav's team on screen, and you can see he's got such power and such threats. Like, I don't really understand how he managed to get such a terrifying team. Like, what? It should be illegal. It's so scary. The things that I was terrified of, obviously, Excadrill in sand is super spooky. There's not really very much that can switch in, so that's going to be very scary. Also, Thunderous, I know, is a big threat. The genies cannot be underestimated. They have setup options they can hit on both sides. Very scary, so I need to make sure. Also, from last week, I got kind of screwed over by an electric type, so I am going to prepare for the electric type this week. Definitely. The other things I'm scared of, there are plenty of things I'm scared of. Mega Ordino, not so much. That's the one thing that I'm not. I'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, things like Emboar, I don't really have a switch in. I'll have to play around with its coverage and try and get the right thing in on it. But that will be tough. Slowbro might be hard to take down, but the water type I'm a bit more scared about is Quillfish, because it can hazard stack spikes, which will hurt my Blastoise if I'm using it to spin. I might consider having to use my Togekiss just because that's an issue. I think I would also dislike the Intimidate from Quillfish quite a lot. I did kind of envisage Quillfish coming. Slowbro doesn't add too much. Like, it's not really a switch in on a lot of my wall breakers, and obviously, especially defensively, it's not amazing either in terms of, because I just have so many powerful things. I was thinking Tangrowth may well come because it handles a few things quite well, and mainly Blastoise. AV Tangrowth kind of deals with it if I don't predict it and go for an Ice Beam. And so it can keep that in check, and as well it just gets really nice coverage. It's just switch in on anything, isn't it? Tangrowth can just take any hit. So yeah, there's that. Tyranitar is scary, but mainly because of the combination with the Excadrill. But yeah, so spooky stuff on the team. Oh, and Latios. How can I not mention Latios? Very scary. I'm going to have to bring like a specially defensive variety for it. Is that what I did? I can't remember if I actually did that. But very hard to switch in on. Oh, I could bring I suppose my Togekiss could have done that. But I'm not bringing Togekiss, as you can see on your screen. So, what I am going to bring is a Jolteon. I really wanted to bring Jolteon this week. I think it does very well. It hurts everything. It can be modest this week, which is fantastic. It's an electric immunity for the darn Thunderous. What it doesn't do so is just the coverage with Electric Bug. I noticed this week was very good, and then the Hidden Power Fighting hits pretty much everything else. The things that won't be able to hit are basically just Mega Ordino. And yeah, that's the main thing it can't really hit. But it's definitely got good cleaning potential at the end of a match. So I think that this is a good set, this match. The next set that I brought was Jirachi. Oh, yeah, this. Okay, yeah, I brought Assault Vest again because it went so well last time. This is for Latios a lot, really, mainly for Latios. He's got really, really good coverage against a lot of the scary things on his team. So Zen Headbutt is covering Quillfish a bit and also Embor a bit. Iron Head hits Tyranitar, even though I've got Drain Punch for that as well, so I'm very prepared for the Tyranitar. And it also is there to kill the Mega Ordino if it does choose to come. Mega Ordino, just fairies in general, don't do very well against my team because I have a good Steel type in Jirachi, a good Poison type in Nidoqueen, and I have Talonflame that can take hits and set up on them. So fairies just generally aren't a very good choice against my team. But if it did come, I could kill it with Iron Head. U-Turn is there for me to get momentum. I need momentum in this match. I'm terrified of so many things on this team, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle them very well. So I need to get switch-ins into my powerful wall breakers to break through, and then hopefully maybe sweep or clean up late game with some of my faster Pokemon. And Drain Punch was there to mainly hit Excadrill, but obviously it hits Tyranitar a bit harder. So yes, that's there. My next Pokemon is going to be Blastoise. This thing does really put the hurt in on the team. I went with this set because it hits pretty much everything. It hits everything, really. I really wanted Ice Beam because I would be able to hit Tangrowth then, and I can't really hit Tangrowth, but I have other stuff that can kind of deal with Tangrowth a bit. But also, if I get the burn, then that's great. If I can get burn, if I can get rocks, then stuff like my Jolteon can really deal the damage, and also my Nidoqueen. And I've got Spin there. I was debating Ice Beam all the way through. I was thinking as well, like, oh, it's great for Latios, but I don't need it for that because I've got Dark Pulse, which is actually more powerful. But yeah, this thing, I went with Timid as well because I was really hoping he would go with... I'm really hoping he's going with Adamant Excadrill, because then obviously outside of Sand I will be able to outspeed, and I haven't really run a Timid one yet, and maybe he's been paying attention to my battles. Maybe he'll think that he's safe when he's not. So I went Timid to outspeed the Adamant Excadrill, really. The next thing on the team, Nidoqueen is here. I need it because I really want rocks. The rocks aren't amazing against the team. It really helps with Thunderous. That could be a bit of a problem to deal with. I've then got Poison Jab because it hits a number of things. It hits Latios a bit harder if it wants to try and switch in, and it also hits the Ordino if it is coming, which it might. And then Earthquake is there to hit Excadrill and Tyranitar and Quillfish. It hits a lot of things. Oh yeah, Poison Jab also really hurts Tangrowth. And then Ice Punch, mainly just to get a bit more damage on... It's trying for an Oko on Mr. Floaty Man. Thunderous. It's trying for an Oko on him, basically. I do have the Sugar Berry, which is great for... Sugar Berry is great for the killing of the Excadrill. Obviously, you don't use Air Balloon because they can see you've got an Air Balloon and then they switch out. If you have Sugar Berry, I'm definitely guaranteed to live an Adamant, Life Orb, Earthquake from an Excadrill. So that's great. You see Poison Point there. Yes, I did actually give it Poison Point. No, it was not intentional. So, it's a bit of an issue, but Earthquake will still Oko Excadrill. Earthquake isn't affected by the fact that I have Poison Point, not Sheer Force, so that's fine. These two kind of are. Ice Punch will be significantly less powerful. Poison Jab will still hit quite hard. But yeah, Silly Sam, I did that. Moving on, we've got Gorgeist Vegetable. This guy I brought just as a switch in for Excadrill. I wasn't particularly happy about it because Synthesis is not very good in the sand, so I can't keep it very healthy. That is unfortunate. But despite that, spreading Will-O-Wisps is good. Getting Shadow Sneaks on faster things is very good. Leech Seed allows me to beat certain stuff like Ordino, and it's better. I thought it was just a better recovery option than Synthesis just because of sand, so that's why it's there. And Seed Bomb helps me hit things like the Excadrill, Tyranitar, anything really. It's just a decent stab move. So that's my vegetable. The weird EVs is just because I think I wanted an odd HP number, and then I just distributed the rest so that I get the maximum benefit. It looks weird, but that's just how it goes. I bet I've done it with other stuff too. Yeah, like this guy. Why did I do it like that with this guy? Oh, just because of the speed, and then I had some left over, so I spread it out. Yep. And then the final thing, which is kind of the win con, I've got a Lumberry Tyrantrum with Dragon Dance. That's so that the Lumberry's there because Prankster Thunderous might have Thunder Wave for this thing. Head Smash really puts in the work. The only thing that can take it particularly well is Excadrill, which I have Earthquake for, and the Superpower's there to kill Tyranitar a bit easier. There are other things that can take Head Smashes though. Ordino can take a Head Smash, not particularly well, but it can take one. And so can like defensive Slowbro, defensive Tangrowth. They can take them reasonably well. So I need to get chip damage. Basically, that's all I really need to do is get chip damage on, and then this thing or Jolteon can hopefully clean up at some point. This thing will have potential setup opportunities. I just need to make sure that I'm careful because it's pretty obvious that you carry coverage for Tyrantrum if your opponent has a Tyrantrum. It's pretty obvious. It's one of the basic things that you do. So yeah, that's the team. I wasn't feeling particularly confident because I really think that Trav has a fantastic team, and kudos to him. It's like all the threats. It's terrifying. It's really, really scary. I don't think that my team looks as great. But anyway, let's get into the battle to see what he brought. Okay, so we can see Trav's team there. The things that took me, or just like I thought were quite interesting, were that he has an Ordino. I really didn't think that was a good choice because I do have so many great things for it, and it's pretty much a free switch into my Jirachi. He doesn't have Latios as well, so Jirachi has like I can use it how I want. It's not really tied into switching into to Latios right now. So it's a really good switching on Ordino. I don't think Ordino will be able to do anything to it. If it's got a Flamethrower or something like that, I've got the AV. It's not going to be doing any damage. So that's fantastic. That's really good. I will gain momentum from that Ordino being there. Also, Slowbro over Quillfish was an interesting choice. I thought Quillfish potentially did more for him. I was quite scared of hazards, but obviously he might have thought that I would bring Togekiss as better hazard removal options. But if he had pressured me with spikes, I think I would have found that really hard. Also, obviously, I've got two things flyers that aren't affected by spikes, so maybe he thought they would come. But yeah, I do need to be careful of like the Excadrill Tyranitar, just trying to kill them. That is my main objective. I really need to kill them, and I'm really hoping the Sugar Berry on my Nidoqueen is enough for the Excadrill because I don't really know how else I'm going to handle it very well. But yeah, that's how it's going. What do I want to lead with is the next question, and I'm thinking that Blastoise is a pretty good lead against his team. The things that I'd need to watch out for maybe would be a Grass Knot on an Emboar, and also obviously the Thunderous, but this week I do have switches into an Electric type, so it's not as much of a problem. So let's see what happens as we play the battle. I'm just going to put it on normal, I think. As we see the Slowbro come out. So this first turn, I'm actually going to predict him to switch out into Ordino and go for the Aura Sphere. But he stays in with his Slowbro, which I found so strange. He does have Grass Knot on, which I thought he might. But I think he's got a Colbur Berry. Why would you stay in with a Slowbro? Why would you stay in with a Slowbro on a Blastoise? I have Stab Dark Pulse because of my Mega Launcher ability. That seems really odd. It can Oko turn 1 if he doesn't have any special defense investment. So he's either got lots of special defense investment, in which case it's still a 2-hit KO. He's AV, in which it's still a 2-hit KO. Or he's Colbur Berry, in which case I think it's still a 2-hit KO because you use your Colbur Berry and then it's super effective. So it's a 2-hit KO anyway. It's a weird move. He does get 50% on my Blastoise, which is lucky, which is not lucky for him because he made a prediction, which has worked out, which is good for him. But then I go into Rachi. Rachi's light. He's going for another grass knot, obviously. So that's fine. I can eat that up. And now what I'm going to do is U-turn it into my Blastoise. Thinking that he's probably going to go for... He might have a Fire Blast, but he's likely going to go for a Scald or something like that. Or maybe even a T-Wave. He actually has Surf. Not sure why he has Surf over... Oh, probably Hariyama. That's why. And I'm just going to go for a Dark Pulse. We don't see Colbur Berry, so I'm guessing he must have been AV, but he's not taking that, and he loses his Slowbro, which is absolutely amazing. Really, really good. Really good. He doesn't really have switch-ins on some of my Wall Breakers now. He goes into Audino. That's a free switch into my Jirachi. I'm going to go for a U-turn here as he's throwing up a Wish, so I get the momentum. I can go into my Nidoqueen. Right, so here, Nidoqueen's in safely. That's great. I could set up Rocks, but this thing could well have like a Psychic type move, or it could have Hidden Power Ground, something like that, to try and hit me. So I felt like my best move would just be to go for an Ice Punch. At this stage, because he's lost his Slowbro, he doesn't have switch-ins on Nidoqueen. So it is going to be a great Wall Breaker here, and that's how I'm going to use it. Rocks aren't too necessary. I think I can deal with Thundurus in other ways. So I'm just going to throw off an Ice Punch and see what we can do. If we can do massive damage to this Thundurus. Not knowing that I'm Poison Point and not Sheer Force at this stage. So, Excadrill comes in, takes a nice 33%, but that was less than I thought it would do. Obviously, I'm still calcing for Sheer Force, so I think he's maybe like a bulky Excadrill. With the Sand Rush, he doesn't need to invest in speed to then outspeed everything else on my team. So maybe he's invested in HP and attack, and in that way won't have to invest in speed, maybe. But we'll see what happens. So right now, this is the exact situation that I wanted to manufacture. This is perfect. He cannot kill me with an Earthquake. He's brought it in specifically, presumably to try and kill my Nidoqueen. So I'm just going to go for an Earthquake right now, and I will be able to kill this Excadrill unless he switches out. So that's really good. That's what I'm going to do. And we see here that he actually gets a crit and OHKOs my Nidoqueen. This is awful. This is really, really, really bad. I needed my Nidoqueen. I really wanted Excadrill dead. If it was, then I was in a fantastic position with Excadrill and Slowbro gone. That's really good. That's two less things to take a head smash. So basically, when Tyrantrum comes in, it's probably going to be getting kills. And he doesn't really have any contingency to help if I do get a +1 Tyrantrum. Once Audino is weakened, I win with Tyrantrum. So that was really, really unfortunate. And I don't really know how I'm going to deal with this Excadrill now. It's going to be definitely an uphill battle. Even the fact that, with that, I can't express it. With Nidoqueen gone, Nidoqueen just shouldn't have died in that turn. With Nidoqueen gone, I can't get my Rocks up. I have one less thing to take down Audino with Poison Jabs. I have one less thing. I don't have I have one less Electric Immunity. One less thing to deal with Emboar. So, yeah, it's really tricky. So, with what just happened, I saw the Ice Punch damage. I'm thinking he's got speed investment because he outspeeds my Nidoqueen as well. He's got HP investment, probably. I don't know. So I'm thinking my Blastoise is likely going to outspeed. I think he's going to be Adamant at the very least. So I'm going to send that in and go for an Aura Sphere, because if I can get damage on anything, that would be great. But that was because of, obviously, miscalking. I send this in and he does outspeed. So he's actually a timid Excadrill, and it was because I was Poison Point, not Sheer Force. It was not doing enough damage. And at this stage, I pretty much lost the match. There wasn't really much that I could do to come back from this. If I could get Tyrantrum up, then if I could get it boosted, then that's great. But he still has the Excadrill with the Sand. So anyways, right now I'm going to go into Gourgeist, which I should have done previously. We do do the Life Orb here. I'm going to go for Elite Seed, but that's not going to work because I'm going to miss, which is fantastic. Now the Emboar is going to set up a sub in my face, which it probably wouldn't have done if I had managed to set up the Seeds. I do go for Seeds again, which is probably not the best way. I know that I can probably limit it, depending. I do get crit Shadow Sneak, which saves me from a bit of extra embarrassment. And now I'm going to go for a Seed Bomb, because if he wants to try and set up a sub again, a Seed Bomb plus a Shadow Sneak will be able to take that out, so that's alright. But yeah, he's just going to take me out with a Flare Blitz. I'm going to have to go into Jirachi at this stage, I believe. Yes. And go for a Zen Headbutt, which I can take out the Ember with. I can't win at this stage though, because Earthquake from Excadrill in the sand does just win. I needed my Gorgeist, but I couldn't really switch into anything once the Ember had a sub. So you see here me trying to stall some sand turns. I wanted my Tyrantrum to be in on the last sand turn against the Tyranitar, so that it could maybe get a +1, but that doesn't work because I just kill the Tyranitar with the Hidden Power fighting. I didn't have enough turns left anyway, so this Tyrantrum is just going to go down to the Earthquake, and that will be the game. I really think that if the crit on my Nidoqueen hadn't happened, I think that I probably would have got that game. I know that it was a bit early to tell, but it would have been 6-4, and he wouldn't have had his Excadrill, which was, in my opinion, it was a win con. He did have an Agility Thunderous, which he was saying it was his win con. It was a win con, and if his Excadrill would have gone down, then it definitely would have been his win con. But my Dorsion could take any one hit from it, because it's got a little bit of bulk investment, because it's just so fast, it doesn't need all the speed investment. And it's modest, and Thunderbolt does 60 to 70%. I had plenty of other things to chip it. I still had a full health Gorgeist, which was it would have been a full health Gorgeist, and I had plenty of stuff to deal with it. So I had an AV Rachi that could take any hit. And yeah, I still had Tyrantrum that could definitely sweep. He had nothing to take Head Smashes particularly well after that. I really think that I if it had not been for that crit, I probably would have won, maybe. Trav obviously still had a chance. I think that Trav's prep was pretty good, but I don't really get the Ordino. I thought the sub Ember was really good, but I didn't really get the Ordino. It gave me a lot of momentum with my Jirachi, which could switch in on it at any time, get U-turn momentum, or just Iron Head something. So I thought that was a bit weird, and I'm just annoyed because this was going to be a really hard battle, and I didn't think that I stood a great chance of winning. And actually, I had brought the right team on the right day, got myself into the perfect position, which I had manufactured with my Nidoqueen against the Excadrill, and I feel like I deserved that one. I feel like I deserved that win. If I had won this one, I would have probably won the league. I've still got one match against Jack. We need to see how that goes. If I win that, then this match is the one that caused me to lose the entire thing. And that one crit, caused me to lose the entire tournament, in my opinion. But thanks to the battle, Trav, you've had an amazing season. You do have a terrifying draft, and it was very, very hard to prep for. So well done for that, and good luck with your final match against Shadi. Trav still needs to win that match to win. If Shadi wins, then his differential may well mean that Shadi actually wins the entire tournament, and none of us want that now, do we? So good luck, Trav. That's all for this time. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.